Hannity's here. He's the same guy from showing last night. He's also executive producer of a great new movie that's coming out called Let There Be Light. But we got to talk about that later because of the unfolding development, Sean. The script has been flipped on the whole Russia investigation.
I call it the big boomerang, and I've been predicting this is going to happen for a while. This is fascinating. In the mainstream media, all of a sudden, the hostile empire known as Russia no longer matters. Vladimir Putin, the dangerous actor, no longer matters because we now know fully we have a confidential informant. The NDA was lifted last night, which means he's had information since 2009. He has documents, he has emails, he has tapes that prove bribery, extortion, money laundering.
Yeah,
this FBI informant.
Right. This guy, and he worked with the FBI to help put away 3 different people. They used his information. He apparently did not testify before the grand jury, but we were talking earlier to his attorney who said it sounds like he will testify. It's not known whether or not it will be in public. And the guy isn't worried about his personal security.
Eventually, of course, he has to worry about it. But all of this information is going to come out. What really this is all about, and it never made sense that 20% of America's uranium would end up in the hands of a hostile actor, Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
Never made sense. It was always dumb. Now we find out that there was an entire network, including spies, because the FBI informant infiltrated this whole organization for 4 years.
I just feel like this is pulling back the layers of the onion. There's more and more and more.
There is, I can tell you what I know, that there is so much more that's going to be coming out. And what the bottom line comes out to is, in 2009, they had all the evidence, documents, emails, tapes, bribery, extortion, money laundering, racketeering.
From Russia.
From Russia. This is before they actually sign off.
To influence the Clintons and get the deal.
Well, that's the whole point. I mean, there's a huge amount of money involved in all of this. A lot of it got kicked back to the Clintons. Now, at this very same time, in 2009, why would the Department of Justice, Eric Holder, the FBI director is Robert Mueller, the person in charge of the investigation is Rod Rosenstein, who's now the Deputy Attorney General. All of these people that you can't make this up. All these people supposedly investigating Trump-Russia collusion.
What do you know about Fusion GPS? Because we're learning that the Clintons might have put money into that, well, through attorneys, calling them legal fees. And then the Russians were also paying them?
Apparently, that's going to be...
We don't know that yet.
We don't know that for sure yet, but we do know the Clintons paid for the dirt. Now, the talking point, if you watch any other network that's not #1 like your show, the talking point is, oh, but one Republican donor, they hired Fusion GPS. Right. That was only for typical, basic, simple research. This didn't include Christopher Steele. Christopher Steele is the main character in this play, and he's a former MI6 agent, and he is the one that actually paid Russians to come up with dirt on Donald Trump. It turns out to be Hillary Clinton DNC money, and the dirt that they're finding was hookers. Sorry, guys, at home, if you have kids. Hookers in a Moscow Ritz-Carlton urinating.
All that stuff. Yeah. We know.
Is this different than between night and day?
Little kids ask their parents, what does that mean?
Yeah,
but Sean, let me ask something. If you are the Clinton
But it was all a lie. One last point. It's all a lie, and it was all regurgitated by everybody in the media.
Been verified.
And everybody Democrat. They ran with it. Nobody ever knew it was true. Now, so basically you have the Russians being paid to give bad information on Trump, paid by the Hillary Clinton campaign for the impact of an election. They want to impact the election.
So let me put yourself in their shoes. Let's say everything you said is true, and they know it.
Everything is true, Brian.
Why
Do you think I lie, Brian?
You read Shattered, and you know that their plan was after Trump won, let's say it's because of the Russians. If they knew their hands were so dirty, why would they want that line pursued, do you think?
I don't even think it was I don't think they thought that deeply. Everybody thought Hillary was going to win. They all thought, and if she won,
we would never be
where we are today. This informant, though, and the lifting of the NDA last night is going to be massive.
Right.
Because he'll testify before the committees. The evidence that he has, which I am told by really deep sources is extensive, is going to break this thing wide open. Here's the bottom line of what we're going to find out. Our country's national security was sold out. It never made sense to give 20% of our uranium.
How do they explain that?
How do you explain that?
And what about yesterday? The President of the United States, en route to Marine One, said this is a modern age Watergate.
It's worse than Watergate, because Watergate was a break-in to get op research. This is about kickbacks, money laundering. Everybody in 2009 knew this evidence existed. They all knew.
Right.
And they did nothing to stop it, and they took it a step further. They signed off on the Uranium One deal. Eric Holder's in charge of the Justice Department. Mueller's in charge of the FBI. Rosenstein's in charge of the investigation. And the Justice Department was one of the 9 agencies, including the State Department and Hillary, that signed off on giving away the foundational material for nuclear weapons. That is a really dumb thing to do.
Brian Fallon said last night, as spokesperson, that he doesn't even know if Hillary Clinton knew about this. Is it possible, from all your experience in politics, for $5.6 million to leave your campaign and you not know it?
She knew. And I think there's going to be evidence proving she knew.
Well, that's why you always hire a law firm, and then they do the dirty work of actually hiring.
Here's an even bigger
digger.
part of the puzzle, because you always ask the question, what did they know and when did they know it? Barack Obama, we're told, got presidential daily briefings with the evidence that there was a Putin network within the United States that wanted to corner the uranium market. So he knew.
Yeah.
And why didn't they stop it?
And how many signatures have proved this? And Peter Schweitzer wrote about it in his book 2 years ago.
Schweitzer, we didn't even talk about the $145 million kickback.
Well, we need to leave something for your show tonight.